today on the Gcore AI News Show, find out why the AI world has gone absolutely bananas. We're also going to be talking a little bit about Grok's new coding model, but I can see the time. It looks like I'm running a little bit late and I need to get to the studio. So I guess I'll see you there. I should have a ride coming soon. All right, here we go. Wish me luck.
Cloud computing, inference meet, Canva and Leonardo can't be beat. GPU spinning all around, the smartest podcast show in town. Gcore, AI News, Harry V's got all the clues. Gcore, AI News, Harry V's got all the clues. It's the Gcore AI News Show.
Now, I'm gonna have to be careful not to lean on that bookshelf. I don't want to be going anywhere. So yes, spoiler alert, we didn't actually hire a helicopter for that shot, and I've actually never been skydiving, but you may have seen the AI me run through the doors of the real Gcore offices in Luxembourg, and a real Gcore logo flashed up on the lobby wall as I raced over those turnstiles. This is all made possible by Google's brand new AI image generation model, Nano Banana. So that title sequence could not have been made without the help of Nano Banana and VO3. So there were honestly, the hardest part of making that sequence was getting the flag of Luxembourg right. So if you know the flag of Luxembourg, you know that it has a tricolour, and at the very bottom it has that very particular light shade of blue. If you look at the flag of the Netherlands, it has that same blue, and it's still the same tricolour, but the blue is a darker shade of blue. So getting that right actually took multiple attempts, but it got the Gcore logo plug in one shot, and it also got the back of me into the frame of the Gcore offices. So I animated all of those shots using VO3, and so the entire video was just made in Gemini. I didn't have to use FAL or play around with different platforms, and I think that was really cool. I also built the whole thing using a theme tune, which I used 11 Labs' new music generator to compose, and I hope you'll agree it's pretty catchy. Harry B's got all the clues. So as you can see, Nano Banana does character and object consistency exceedingly well. I reckon it's far better than OpenAI's image generator in GPT. And honestly, this is why I think it's making the big headlines and why I think so many people are talking about it. It clearly isn't just the benchmarks which show that it's doing really well. It clearly works that way in real life. It also allows you to put two characters together in a single frame. So you may remember, if you can remember this far back and you were in AI in the really early days, the days of face swapping in Mid-Journey or having to splice or Photoshop AI generated people into one frame. There were all kinds of crazy things that you had to do to actually get it to work, and some of them looked good, some of them were very, very time consuming, some of them didn't really work that well. Nano Banana has killed all of that off, and he makes it dead easy. So here's a few crazy examples that I've spotted just looking around the internet. Picture of Taylor Swift taking a selfie with Elvis Presley, really cool one. Obviously they weren't alive at the same time, and obviously Google has backed all of this up with impressive benchmarks, as we said, from LLM Arena. Now I'm usually pretty skeptical of benchmarks these days, to be honest, and I often feel they're a bit like a PR exercise. You know, they're very easy to game, and it's very easy to change the environments to make them favorable. I've also lost track of the amount of LinkedIn posts I've seen this week of people telling me it's over and that Photoshop is dead. But you know what? For once, I actually think the LinkedIn bros are right. There is a Photoshop plugin for Nano Banana, so now you can just autofill and you can just change things by typing. So it's completely crazy. It's also easy to see why a business may be tempted to just stop doing expensive photo shoots or stop even shipping their products out to UGC creators. That could be costly, and paying UGC creators as well. They could just use Nano Banana. But I also see that there's a market for businesses that go all in on Nano Banana and that offer these photo shoots for products as a service. Talking of LinkedIn bros, the amount of posts I've seen this week of founders just randomly happening to bump into Elon Musk. Come on guys, let's have some creativity. But you can see how this is obviously going to be a trend that catches on and it's not going to stop now. But all of this begs the question, what is the future of LoRAs in image generation models? So far the image models have essentially gotten so good, we essentially don't need to do any fine tuning anymore. You can one-shot a LoRA, and that's good enough for most use cases with one photo. Now, it's obviously not production level ready, and this is what I achieved in a few hours. Imagine what I could do with a week to perfect it, and imagine if I had that kind of domain knowledge that a filmmaker or a photographer has. I obviously never trained at film school. I have an A-level in film studies. That's all I have. So shout out to my A-level film studies teacher if he's watching this. So let's go through some of the really cool things you can do with Nano Banana. One of the amazing things you can do is you can actually colorize black and white photos in one shot. So we're going to have a test of the model, and let's see how well it does of cleaning up this photo of Abraham Lincoln. So as you can see, the first thing I do is just get it to put the photo in color. And it's done a pretty amazing job, to be honest. I don't really think we need to do any more cleaning up than that. But here's the less famous photo. So of course, Abraham Lincoln might be in the training data for Nano Banana, so that one might be a little bit unfair. But here's a less famous photo that definitely won't be in its training data, and that's a photo of my great-great-great-grandfather. His name was John Verity in 1840. So here you can see he's just on a park bench eating an ice cream. I've cropped this, so I think his wife is in the other half of the photograph. So he lived a long time ago. I think this photograph was taken in perhaps the 1920s. So he's done a pretty amazing job, to be honest. It hasn't quite captured all the details. Like you can obviously see it hasn't captured that ice cream he's eating. And you can tell this is obviously an interpretation. It's not a copy of the photo, but the face is really incredible. It really captures his features in a lot of detail. And let's do a side-by-side comparison with the AI generated photo. I think he does look a little bit like me. I think you can tell that we are related, but I'll let you be the judge of that. So doing the rounds on the internet this week are YouTubers that have given the model the oldest photograph ever taken. It's called View from the Window at La Grasse in 1826, and I believe it was taken in Paris. And the restoration is also pretty impressive. You can make out all of the details, and it's really restored that kind of black and white image. It hasn't necessarily got everything right, and again you can see that it's an interpretation, but this is probably what they would have seen out of the window, which is amazing. And that was obviously almost 200 years ago. Now I think Google's marketing team have really excelled itself. I think calling the model Banana was a really smart move, though it's officially Gemini Flash 2.5, and they've successfully built a lot of hype around it. The developer blog doesn't go into too much detail about what makes this model different from the GPT image generators, but it does give some clues. According to Google, the model benefits from Gemini's native world knowledge.
How should people think about developers or just like people who have knowledge of all of the models, like Imagine versus this like native capability that we have?
You know this, but our goal is to always like build one model with Gemini, right? So ultimately our goal is to always like bring all the modalities into Gemini so we can benefit from all the knowledge transfer that Mustafa was talking about, and ultimately build towards AGI, right?
If you saw last week's video, you will have seen that the geniuses at Google DeepMind have been working on Genie 3. So that's a 3D environment generator, and it creates a walkable environment. So unlike other 3D walkable environment generators, this model actually appears to excel because it has real world knowledge. It kind of has this like a physics engine in the back. So you wonder, like, how far is Nano Banana just an attempt to test out this real world knowledge as a precursor to launching Genie 3? Let's wait and see if we get that this year. Genie 3 is not actually out yet, it's still in preview mode. Now let's talk about Elon. What shenanigans has he been up to this week? Well, it's also worth mentioning that he has brought out a new coding model, Grok Code Fast. It's clearly a play to catch up with some of the other models. Everybody has got a coding model now. OpenAI has got Codex, and Claude has of course got Claude Code, and Quen as well. Alibaba has brought out a specific coding model. But as the decoder points out, and I think this is a really, really good point, it does seem like more of an alternative to the smaller GPT-5 models like Mini or Nano, rather than an attempt to take on Claude Code or Codex itself, but it does show the direction of travel. So before we wrap up here are a few honorable mentions. Mistral, the European LLM, have integrated with MCP and connectors. This is a really great feature to have, especially if you're worried about data privacy and you want an open source alternative for MCP. And 11 Labs, they put out version 2 of their AI sound effects model. It's now capable of generating up to 30 seconds. Everything 11 Labs does, I just think is amazing. Finally, we can't leave without talking about Infinite Talk. And that's a model by Wan. It's completely open source, and it lets you upload a video or an image with some audio and then create an unlimited lip sync for as long as you want. It even does this with 2 people talking at once. So check out some of these crazy AI generated videos of people singing.
In the quiet of the night I find whispers of the heart alive.
As I mentioned, it's fully open source, so I was actually able to spin this up on Gcore using their bare metal H100 GPUs with some comfy UI over the weekend. So yeah, thank you so much for watching this. If you've watched this far, then don't forget to hit that subscribe button or leave us a comment. Personally, I'm curious to know this week what you've been using Nano Banana for and if you think it deserves the hype. We're hoping to line someone up from Google to chat about this, so you never know, we might be able to put some of your questions and feed them back to the people that actually created the model. Alright, I'll see you next week for some more AI news. This is all made possible by Google's brand new AI image generation model, Nano Banana.
So I'm not offering this to you. Like, are you truthful?
I don't like bananas, I hate them, yeah.
Okay.
I asked them even when they make a protein shake, because it's got banana in it.